Ooh, I was so right. I was so close. I was like 80% right about the plot. I got the first act down. Second act was only a little jumbled because the bar fight was at the start of Act 2 before the trenches instead of in the middle where I thought it'd be. And the town fight didn't happen for the reasons I thought it would. You just go straight from the trenches to the town, it's almost the same action scene. I was right about the chemical weapons plans, I was right about the flashback. I was wrong about some things regarding the ending, which I won't spoil. I got the order of the action scenes 100% right. I feel like I should have known some things because of the clothes Diana was wearing in scenes, and maybe if I paid closer attention to background details while watching the trailers. Those things would have helped me be more accurate. I was right about where the party was in the movie, but I was wrong about the scenarios surrounding it. For the most part, I was right about the whereabouts the scene sat chronologically, but wrong about the purpose that scene served in the story. I was wrong about character motivations, and everything in the movie that was different to what I predicted, I found myself enjoying much more than the parts I saw coming even before seeing the movie. Here's the lesson to learn. Don't release 6 trailers. Now, what do I think of the movie? It's better than the movie I predicted it would be, and that's good. Everyone is treating it like it's the greatest movie ever made. Look, it's alright. It's good, but not great. The Rotten Tomatoes score says it's just 1 point below The Dark Knight. Nah. I'd say it's as good, if not better, than most Marvel origin movies, and it's easily the best DCEU movie. I might take this time to explain what I think of DC movies. I think the Dark Knight trilogy is great, with The Dark Knight being my favourite, then Begins, then Rises. I find Rises disappointing because I always watch it right after The Dark Knight, and I'm sure everyone agrees it's just not as good. My one problem is they're not really like the comics, but they're still great movies. I want the Ben Affleck Batman movies to be more like the comics. I don't care what grand vision he and Matt Reeves think they have of the character. I just want this one. Not a fan of the 80s and 90s Batman movies. I think they're just dumb and ridiculous. And even more unlike the comics.
Never leave the cave without it.
I haven't watched the Christopher Reeve Superman films in forever, but I have fond memories of them. Green Lantern is garbage. This movie's the worst. Mask of the Phantasm is literally perfect. The animated movies are good, but they've been hitting a serious decline lately, with each one being worse than the last. I don't know what happened, but Batman and Harley Quinn looks atrocious.
Too late.
My 2 favourites are Superman Unbound and Assault on Arkham. They're both pretty dumb, and if you haven't read the comics, would make no sense at all. But hey, I like them. My 2 least favourites would be The Killing Joke and Batman Bad Blood. And on now to the DCEU. I actually like Man of Steel. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I think it's good. Yes, there are things I would certainly change, but people are way too harsh on it. Plus, most points people give for it being bad are just wrong. They're not even right. Superman didn't destroy any buildings in Metropolis, Zod did. And he did try to take the fight away from the city, he took it into space, but then Zod brought it back down to Earth. And yes, he was able to carry Zod away from an area earlier in the movie, but that was because Zod was distracted. And no, Zod didn't have his super senses at that point, he got them after he took his helmet off later on. And yes, the neck snap is really just way too violent for a Superman movie. It's a bit of a mixed bag, okay? Batman vs Superman sucks, except for the odd action scene that I can watch on YouTube for free. And then there's Suicide Squad.
We're bad guys. That's what
Hell
we do.
no.
And then there's Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is certainly better than Man of Steel, as it does a better job of adapting its source material. But I have some problems. I found the action to be really disappointing. In the trailers, I assume the quick cuts were just because the trailers are always quick cutty. But oh gods of Olympus, there are so many quick cuts. What is happening? It's not the worst quick cutting out there. It's not Taken bad, but it's about the same amount of cutting in Civil War and The Winter Soldier. But at least in those movies, it cuts so the action feels quicker, not to cut away from what's happening. There is a scene with the lasso where there is a 5-second long take, and that was great. The next best action scene was in the town, where she burst through the window. Action and reaction was in the same shot, and the angle only changed to give a better view of the action, not a worse view. The stunts done by the Amazons at the start were really cool as well. They were like bending backwards on horses and shooting bow and arrows. It was really impressive. The worst action was when Wonder Woman fought the General. There was quick cutting and shaky cam. Then when all of this is combined with slow fast mo, it becomes kind of messy. Speaking of messy, the editing wasn't too great, but only in the first act, weirdly. It was all fine in the rest of the movie. But the start just felt like it was moving at a weird pace, and people would kind of just jump to places. Like this moment in the trailer where the bullet passes by Diana and Steve. In the next shot you see them lying on the ground. I assumed in the movie she would push him out of the way and fall over, but no. That's exactly how it happens in the movie as well. I don't know, there are a couple of jarring moments like that, where you don't see someone move but they still do. Folks are complaining about the CGI battle at the end. Look, it's far from the worst of CGI battles. The worst is the Doomsday fight, and the Transformers movies. It's fine. It's fine. My biggest problem is that she flies for a bit with no explanation, because she's never flown before in this or Batman v Superman. But when there's more CGI, there's less quick cuts. Huh? It's hard to animate onto a background that's constantly changing. On that note, the special effects seem to be getting worse with each DCEU movie. Like, the real Superman to CG Superman is still seamless today, and it came out 4 years ago. Yet, in Wonder Woman, I can tell whenever she's changed into either a stunt double or a CGI copy of herself. Gal Gadot is great, Chris Pine is great, and you really believe in their relationship and the emotions they go through. I really like the themes of war and that there are no good sides. I didn't like the themes of gender roles as much, as they were pretty standard and expected. Only they were quite equal to both men and women, which was good, instead of just girl power. It currently is a 93%. Like, hold your horses, guys. Let's be reasonable here. It's not that good, but it's still pretty good. I think it got lucky with the critics, where Man of Steel got unlucky. I don't think there's that much between them. If you got rid of BVS and Suicide Squad, I think people would be excited for the next movie in this series instead of... I don't know. It's not a huge turning point, but it's a massive step in the right direction. At this point, DC is taking all praise they can get. And they have no reason not to. They've planned the next 5 Wonder Woman movies, a Katana spin-off trilogy, a Wonder Girl coming-of-age story, a Batgirl Netflix series, Season 10 of Supergirl, an Artemis movie, a Harley Quinn solo, a Huntress movie, a Birds of Prey team-up movie, Gotham City Sirens, a Black Canary Arrow spin-off, a Zatanna movie, a Starfire and Raven movie, a Ravager Hitman spy thriller, a Vixen movie, a Female Furies movie, a Mera movie, a Lois Lane movie, a Martha Wayne and Kent spin-off prequel where they are a spy duo in the Cold War. But no Power Girl movie. What are you, insane? Who would watch that? No joke, I would watch half of those. Twice. Look, movie, you did good. You had a lot of pressure, but you overcame it. I'm looking forward to seeing Wonder Woman again, both the movie and the character in future movies. I give it a recommended out of 10.